Hey, everybody. Welcome to Little Men Live. Um, this should be public, shouldn't it? Oh my God. I don't know why this was on private. It was scheduled for 8 o'clock. So I don't know why it was private. It was scheduled for 8 o'clock to be released, and then it didn't release. I don't know what's going on. New things are happening. Okay, let's put it on live chat. I'll get the book out. Gotta watch that shoulder, guys. Watch that shoulder. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't know why it was on private. I had it scheduled. All right. Welcome to Little Men Live, Chapter 4, I believe it is. Chapter 4, Stepping Stones. When Nat went into school on Monday morning, he quaked inwardly, for now he thought he should have to display his ignorance before them all. But Mr. Bear gave him a seat in the deep window where he could turn his back on the others, and Franz heard him say his lessons there, so no one could hear his blunders or see how he blotted his copybook. He was truly grateful for this and toiled. Sorry, guys. And toiled away so diligently that Mr. Bear said, smiling when he saw his hot face and inky fingers, "Don't work so hard, my boy. You will tire yourself out, and there is time enough." "But I must work hard, or I can't catch up with the others. They know heaps, and I don't know anything," said Nat, who had been reduced to a state of despair by hearing the boys recite their grammar, history, and geography with what he thought was amazing ease and accuracy. "You know a good many things which they don't," said Mr. Bear, sitting down beside him while Franz led a class of small students through the intricacies of the multiplication table. "Do I?" I'm sorry, folks. I need another pair of glasses for this. Hey, Linda. "Do I?" And Nat looked utterly incredulous. "Yes, for one thing, you can keep your temper. And Jack, who is quick at numbers, cannot. That is an excellent lesson, and I think you have learned it well. Then you can play the violin, and not one of the lads can, though they want to do it very much. But best of all, Nat, you really care to learn something, and that is half the battle. It seems hard at first, and you will feel discouraged, but plod away, and things will get easier and easier as you go on." "No, it's not private, honey. It's not. It's public." Nat's face brightened once more, and more he listened as he listened. Nat's face brightened more and more as he listened. For, small as his list of learning was, it cheered him immensely to feel that he had anything to fall back on. Yes, I can keep my temper. Father's beating taught me that. And I can fiddle, though I don't know where the Bay of Biscay is, he thought, with a sense of comfort impossible to express. Then he said aloud and so earnestly that Demi heard him, I do want to learn, and I will try. I never went to school, but I couldn't help it. And the fellows don't laugh at me. I guess I'll get on first rate. You and the lady are so good to me. Jeez, I got to get my eyes tested again. No, there's 5 people here, Linda. Not everybody's talking is all. They shan't laugh at you. If they do, I'll tell them not to, cried Demi, quite forgetting where he was. The class stopped in the middle of the 7 times 9, and everyone looked up to see what was going on. Thinking that a lesson in learning to help one another was better than arithmetic just then, Mr. Bear told them about Nat making such an interesting and touching little story out of it that the good-hearted lads all promised to lend him a hand and felt quite honored to be called upon to impart their stores of wisdom to the chap who fiddled so capitally. This appeal established the right feeling among them, and Nat had few hindrances to struggle against, for everyone was glad to give him a boost up the ladder of learning. Till he was stronger, much study was not good for him, however, and Mrs. Joe found various amusements in the house for him while others were at their books. But his garden was his best medicine, and he worked away like a beaver, preparing his little farm, sowing his beans, watching eagerly to see them grow, and rejoicing over each green leaf and slender stalk that shot up and flourished in the warm spring weather. Never was a garden more faithfully hoed. Mr. Bear really feared that nothing would find time to grow. Nat kept up such a stirring of the soil, so he gave him easy jobs in the flower garden or among the strawberries. Excuse me. Where he worked and hummed as busily as the bees booming all around him. This is the crop I like best, said Mrs. Bear. Mrs. Bear used to say, as she pinched him once, the once thin cheeks now getting plump and ruddy, or stroked the bent shoulders that were slowly straightening up with healthful work, good food, and the absence of that heavy burden, poverty. Demi was his little friend, Tommy his patron, and Daisy the comforter of all his woes. For though the children were younger than he, his timid spirit found a pleasure in their innocent society, and rather shrunk from the rough sports of the elder lads. Mr. Lawrence did not forget him, but sent clothes, books, music, and kind messages, and now and then came out to see how his boy was getting on, or took him into town to a concert, on which occasions Nat felt himself translated into the 7th heaven of bliss. For he went to Mr. Lawrence's great house, saw his pretty wife, little fairy of a daughter, had a good dinner, and was made so comfortable that he talked and dreamed of it for days and nights afterwards. It takes so little to make a child happy that it is a pity in a world so full of sunshine and pleasant things that there should be any wistful faces, empty hands, or lonely little hearts. I'm so sorry. Feeling this, the bears gathered up all the crumbs they could find to feed their flock of hungry sparrows, for they were not rich except in charity. Many of Mrs. Joe's friends who had nurseries sent her toys for which their children soon tired. And in mending these, Nat found an employment that just suited him. He was very neat and skillful with those slender fingers of his, and passed many a rainy afternoon with his gum bottle, paint box, and knife, repairing furniture, animals, and games, while Daisy was dressmaker to the dilapidated dolls. As fast as the toys were mended, they were put carefully away in a certain drawer, which was to furnish forth a Christmas tree for all the poor little children of the neighborhood. That being the way the Plumfield boys celebrated the birthday of him who loved the poor and blessed the little ones. Oh, I am so sorry. Demi was never tired of reading and explaining his favorite books. And many a pleasant hour did they spend in the old willow, reveling over Robinson Crusoe, Arabian Nights, Edgeworth Tales, and the other dear immortal stories that will delight children for centuries to come. This opened a new world to Nat, and his eagerness to see what came next in the story helped him on until he could read as well as anybody, and felt so rich and proud with his new accomplishment that there was danger of his being as much a bookworm as Demi. Thank you, Linda. I'm tempted to put Freaky Friday off till tomorrow. Another helpful thing happened in a most unexpected and agreeable manner. Several of the boys were in business, as they called it, for most of them were poor, and knowing they would have their own way to make by and by, the Bears encouraged any efforts at independence. Tommy sold his eggs, Jack speculated in livestock, Franz helped in the teaching and was paid for it. Holy smokes. Ned had a taste for carpentry, and a turning lathe was set up for him, in which he turned all sorts of useful or pretty things and sold them. While Demi constructed water mills, whirligigs, and unknown machines of intricate and useless nature and disposed of them to the boys. Let him be a mechanic if he likes, said Mr. Bear. Give a boy a trade and he is independent. Work is wholesome, and whatever talent these lads possess, be it for poetry or plowing, it shall be cultivated and made useful to them if possible. Oh, it feels so good all of a sudden. I'm turning the fan on. So when Nat came running to him one day to ask with an excited face, can I go and fiddle for some people who are to have a picnic in our woods? They will pay me, and I'd like to earn some money as the other boys do. Fiddling is the only way I know how to do it. Mr. Bear answered readily, go and welcome. It is an easy and pleasant way to work, and I'm glad it is offered to you. Nat went and did so well that when he came home, he had $2 in his pocket, which he displayed with intense satisfaction, as he told how much he had enjoyed the afternoon, how kind the young people were, and how they had praised his dance music and promised to have him again. Let me finish the chapter. Oh, it feels so good. Nat went and did so. Okay. It was so much nicer than fiddling in the street, for then I got none of the money, and now I have it all, and a good time besides. I'm in business now as well as Tommy and Jack, and I like it ever so much, said Nat, proudly patting the old pocketbook and feeling like a millionaire already. He was in business truly, for picnics were plenty as summer opened, and Nat's skill was in great demand. He was always at liberty to go if lessons were not neglected and if the picnickers were respectable young people. For Mr. Bear explained to him that a good plain education is necessary for everyone, that no amount of money should hire him to go where he might be tempted to do wrong. Nat quite agreed to this, and it was pleasant sight to see the innocent-hearted lad I'm really sorry, folks. I got to go to bed. I'm not well. I'm sorry. I'm not well. I feel ill. I don't get fevers, honey. I get fevers. I don't get the elevated temperature. But I'm breaking out in cold sweats for some reason. So I got a busy day tomorrow. So I apologize, everybody, for cutting this short. I'm going to let everybody know that Freaky Friday is packed off until tomorrow night, and I'm going to bed. Oh, my God. We'll do this again soon. I'm sorry. It's not been a good week. Thank you, honey.